This is just perfect! I've been waiting to try out these new clothes! Oh my gosh, did you want my auto... wait, there's something on my clothes? No! I just bought these!
What's going on, guys, and welcome on in. You know what time it is? Let's talk Faithless Lidica versus top Model Luluca. Now, guys, some of y'all have been waiting for this video after you liked my roundup of the regular banner, Covenant banners on who to pull for. I apologize for the delay, but we still have a little under a week to decide. So let's talk now. I'll go over where I think these two fit in the meta, their pros and cons, and whether or not, deciding factors on who to pull for, okay? That being said, unlike my other video, I'm gonna go ahead and just start by saying I don't think you can go wrong with either, okay? You'll see why when I break down what I think about each of them. But I guess if you really want to go for the tried and true, I'll probably lean towards Faithless Lidica. But top Model Luluca is looking to shape up to be absolutely insane as well, okay? So both are probably going to be insane. Or, I mean, top Model Luluca is probably going to be insane. Faithless Lidica already very, very good, as you all know. Okay, let's start with Faithless Lidica. Now, guys, after her introduction, she was never super strong. She was always sort of middle of the pack, maybe mid-tier when she was first released. A lot of people would like Lidica, so a lot of people pulled for her. And Smilegate, I think, decided to give her this skill null because a lot of new to mid-game players sort of had difficulty running her successfully. Now, that being said, the top level players that already had Faithless Lidica and were running her in appropriate comps, they were already doing well with her, and this skill nullifier pushed her over the top. A lot of people were so upset or sort of flabbergasted as to why she got this, but I do think it's because of those new to mid-game players that had trouble with units, let's say like Seaside and Bologna. The fact is, she has it now, and this is part of her kit that makes her absolutely busted. Crit hits will grant skill nullifier, as well as her S3 does a skill cooldown to max pushback, okay? So keep that in mind. You will want crit chance, you will want effectiveness. Her S2, CR push, as well as a strip, and this AoE attack cannot be counterattacked. Her S1, of course, has a debuff to hit chance, and if you combine it with something like Miss Confil from Elfelt's artifact, can be a very, very good follow-up after you do the S2, S3 combo and sort of lock down or just finish. It's a nice follow-up S1. It's not a dead skill. It can potentially lock down or guarantee the win after she sort of already grants you insane momentum from her other skills. So the pros of Flidica, she just does so much for a single character. Think of like Tamarin and how much she does for healing and PvE. Faithless Lidica does that if you're trying to go first, if you're trying to control your opponent, and also enable your damage dealers or follow-up control units to sort of just take over. So I mentioned momentum. I think that's the key word with Faithless Lidica. She will skill push back your opponents, she will protect your team and CR push them forward, and then she'll debuff them with her S1 and fast sort of cycling to get back to her skill set as well. There's no other unit in the game that has all of these sort of skills locked into one. So if you've ever seen those sort of comps, Faithless Lidica with Cdom, with Spectre Tenebria, with Arbiter Vildred, right? If you like running those kind of comps that sort of just take the first turn and keep the momentum and lock your opponent out or just flat out kill them, consider pulling for Faithless Lidica because she is one of the best enablers, controllers, and she can also potentially cleave too, guys. She can be run in a cleave comp, but she can also be run as a cleaver as well. I've seen it work even at the highest levels of play, in tournament play. But keep in mind, if this is for a real-time arena, that's going to be more of a one-and-done surprise factor. Your opponent will eventually learn how you're running her, and it's much easier to counter, okay? That being said, I think her cons, of course, are going to be her gearing requirements, which I'll talk about more in just a second. But before that, she's not the strongest defensive unit, so arena defense and Guild War defense. She's hard countered by units like Fallen Cecilia and Elena. So if you're running her in defense, probably you're going to get steamrolled by people that have those units available. And then let's talk about her gearing, okay? You're going to hear this a lot. Her gearing requirements are insane. That's a given. But don't let that sort of stop you from pulling for her. If you like her, if you have other units that you think will synergize with her well. Her speed gear requirements, guys, are going to be relevant to where you're at in the game, okay? So if your friend who's in Champion to Legend is saying, you know, I run mine at 280, 290, 300, you may not need that if you're sitting in, you know, Masters, Challengers. That's not a call out to anybody. That's just sort of how it is. Keep your speed gear or keep your gearing appropriate to where you're at. So if you're in Masters, you may only need 250 to run her effectively. Now, of course, the higher speed will guarantee you the higher first turn, meaning higher overall success rate. But let's say you're a mid-game player, you're sitting in Masters, anywhere from Masters to Challenger, or even Champion. All you got to do is give her the best speed gear, effectiveness, and crit chance gear you can get. And let's say if your speed rolls aren't the best, just don't bring her versus other speed contesting units. So avoid Akali's, avoid Assassin Sids, avoid CR Pushers, Judith, whatever, Bazaars. And if you sort of see a slower bruiser comp, you will be just fine, guys. So don't let that stop you from pulling for her gear requirements. Grab a crit chance neck, grab an effectiveness ring, speed boots on a speed set. And if you keep fishing for gear and work on it slowly, I think you guys will all be able to run Faithless Lidica at least to an acceptable level. You may not be able to run her everywhere until you get your speed gear insane, but that's okay. At least you'll be able to run her well when your opponent has the units that she'll work well against, okay? So that's the pros and cons for Faithless Lidica. Oh, one more thing too, guys, to add to the pros list. Her skin just got revealed. I'll go ahead and play some footage of that. Let me know what you think. Her pants are missing. I don't know if y'all consider that a pro or con. I kind of like it. Not the pants part, just the skin. It's not my favorite because it's sort of minimalistic, meaning they didn't do too much. They didn't do too much different besides her original design. A lot of people in my Twitch chat sort of like her original much better. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think about the skin in the comments below, okay? And let's get on over to ML Luluca, Top Model Luluca. Alright guys, Top Model Luluca up next. One of the craziest designs, most ridiculous backgrounds I've ever seen from Smilegate. Let me know if you guys think that's a good or bad thing. I honestly love it. I think as long as they don't overdo it, the sort of silliness, craziness is a welcome addition. They also mentioned Strays, Lilibet, and Rowana, some of my favorite characters from episode 2, may also be joining this top model lineup. Maybe we'll see them in the future. But yeah, let's go ahead and get over to her stats and her skill set. She is a Dark Mage, Sagittarius with self-attack % imprint. And the main thing, let's start with the pros, guys. The main thing I want y'all to sort of remember about Top Model Luluca, the most important thing in my opinion, is the fact that she is a self-reliant DPS unit. What do I mean by that? Let's say in comparison to someone like Euphine or Sirmia, who aren't super fast, don't have speed scaling, don't have inherent survivability, right? So that you want to either Oxlots push them, make sure you have some backup support in terms of defensive options, because neither of them have built-in defense really. Top Model Luluca does everything you need into one unit, so she can be drafted into any comp, and she does her job pretty effectively if you have the gear. We'll talk about the gearing in just a bit. Let's go over her skill set. Starting with her skill 2 victory pose. I believe it's a 15% combat readiness push for her team, which is really crazy that they gave this on a DPS unit. She gives self-attack up, which sort of ties into the self-reliant aspect I mentioned, and also gives her an extra turn, of course. So she needs to be able to push into her S3. So self-attack, CR push, which leads into her S3, which is called Demolish. It has extinction, guys. It scales off of speed, which is very, very nice. And also grants the caster stealth for 2 turns. So another self-reliant ability, meaning if you have her fast, which you want because of speed scaling, if she goes first, she'll be protected by speed if your opponent doesn't have, you know, of course, a ton of AoE to sort of break her out of that. Demolish. I think the S2 and S3 combo, guys, is going to be absolutely insane. She's going to have attack up. She has speed scaling. Her multipliers are actually fairly good. So I think she's going to do her job just fine. And that's before we even get over to her filler skill, which is S1, Energy Blast. Similar to Blue Luluca, has a chance to double attack when it's not an elite or boss monster. Damaging effects are ignored, so Aureus, things like Seaside Bellona, they're going to just be ignored. And also the double attack and also the ignore Aureus is going to be nice for units like Tempest Surin. Tempest Surin needs to watch out for top model Luluca. So Seaside Bologna, T Surin, and Arby, all sort of units that top model Luluca can absolutely wreck. She's going to fit nicely in that regard too. So add that to the pros list. Very relevant skill set versus the current meta. Okay. So self-reliant DPS unit that's strong versus the monster units that you kind of are afraid of at the moment. That, I think, really makes her overall very, very strong. Now, let's go over her cons just real fast. It's going to be similar to Faithless Lidica, right? I mentioned she needs to go first in order to, you know, you want her to go first, one, to get before your enemy's debuffs, to make sure they don't interrupt anything that she's doing. And third, of course, so that you can get her stealth off, meaning you're going to build her glass cannon with speed. She's probably going to die if she doesn't get first turn and get that stealth. So her gear requirements will be, I want to say, almost as strict, if not as strict as Faithless Lidica. Okay, so don't let gearing be the deciding factor. If you take one thing away from this video, don't let gearing be the deciding factor between who you pick. Pick your favorite. Pick which one kind of fits into your playstyle better, if you need a self-reliant DPS, or if you want one of the best utility, you know, all-in-one kit units that no one else sort of does. Look at Faithless Lidica, okay? Gearing requirements are going to be tough on both, but that's really the only downside, which is why I keep saying, pick your favorite guys. Look at what each of them do. I'll write all the pros and cons on the screen for you, and after that, just decide. You can't go wrong. Both are absolutely going to be insane. If you want my personal pick, you know what? I'm not going to pick. I would want both. I think you just pull for both if you really can't decide. If you don't get Lidica in time, just get Luluca. You won't be disappointed, okay? Sorry guys, a little bit of a cop-out answer, but I really would want both. I think for my personal playstyle, Luluca will probably do a little bit more since I don't run, you know, fast comps, you know, the CDOM sort of things. But yeah, both are great, okay? So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, good luck on your pulls. Come by the Twitch stream. A lot of y'all been stopping by and saying hi. I very, very, very much appreciate that. Don't forget to the like and subscribe button. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out, everybody.